Well, as the president has said before, it will be tough to meet the May 1st deadline for a full withdrawal for logistical reasons. We are continuing, he's continuing to consult internally with his national security team and advisors, and of course also with our partners and allies. And, he's been working on these issues, foreign policy issues, national security issues for several decades now, and of course wants to take the time to make the right decision.
As President Biden continues to grapple with whether to pull U.S. troops from Afghanistan by May 1st, NBC News reports that his lack of a final decision has frustrated some military officials. A senior military officer said, quote, "There needs to be a decision." And a former senior official described Biden as, quote, "dithering," and said the view among many military leaders is increasingly, quote, "just tell us what we're doing here."
Well, because, Afghanistan is just such...
That's a clear-cut decision.
It's such a easy decision to make,
should have made it a long time ago.
Actually, no, actually not. Let's bring in right now retired four-star Admiral William McRaven, a man who understands there's nothing easy about Afghanistan. He's the author of the book, The Hero Code, Lessons Learned from Lives Well Lived.
The book is all over my house. Joe loves it.
It is. And Admiral, on Afghanistan, I would guess you would agree with me that Afghanistan is no simpler for Joe Biden than it was for the Soviets or for Alexander the Great.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Again, great to be with you all this morning. Absolutely, this is a difficult problem, and I think President Biden is taking this kind of methodically and thoughtfully. I know that he is in discussions with General Scott Miller, who is the commander of ISAF over there. Nobody has more experience than General Miller does. So listening to the military leadership, listening to General Miller, listening to General Milley, and of course to Secretary Austin, I think is the key for President Biden kind of making the decisions to move forward.
Admiral, I love the beginning of this book where I wasn't sure where it was going at the very beginning, but you were talking about loving Superman and superheroes. And when you first went to New York City, you kept looking up into the sky for Superman. And finally, your father figured it out. And he pointed at the police officer and said, they protect us. But you came to a conclusion, and that was to protect this country, it is up to us. How did that shape your life?
Yeah, as I say in the book, if you can have an epiphany at 8 years old, I think I did, because I was looking for Superman. When my dad turned to me and pointed at that New York cop and said, "Son, that's the man that protects New York City," you realize that, Superman wasn't coming, that we were going to have to solve our own problems. So I began to look for those heroes. I mean, at the time, of course, it was the astronauts, and it was the great civil rights leaders, and it was, heroes from everywhere. And you realize that we can learn to be heroes. We can learn to have these kind of noble qualities of courage, of perseverance, of humility that really comes with being a hero.
And you talk about characteristics. You start with the characteristic that Winston Churchill said all other virtues came from, and that was courage. And in talking about courage, you told us a story of a lieutenant, Lieutenant Ashley White. Tell us about the lieutenant.
Yeah, it's a remarkable story. Lieutenant Ashley White was part of our cultural support team. So over in Afghanistan, we needed to have these great female soldiers on target in order to be able to question the women that we met on target, because it was culturally impermissible for either Afghan men or certainly American men to talk to the women. So we had to bring in these great, strong, really reliable, incredible warriors that were part of the cultural support team. Ashley White was one of those. And I talk about the fact that every single day she took one step and she kind of got on that helicopter. She went and did her job. Unfortunately, she was killed in Afghanistan. She gave her life to her fellow soldiers, to this belief in America. And it wasn't just the act of giving her life on that day. It was every single day that she, again, took that step to get on the helicopter. I mean, that was courage. You get scared in combat, and, bad things happen. And so to be able to have the courage to do your job every single day the way Ashley White did, absolutely remarkable.
Admiral McRaven, it's Willie Geist. It's good to see you this morning. I first want to thank you again for your previous book, Make Your Bed, which has given great ammunition to parents around the world whose kids won't make their bed. And then you say, who wants you to make your bed? the guy who got bin Laden, and suddenly the bed is made. So that's very nice. But let's talk about heroes and what we've seen just in the last year, 15 months or so, in the United States in terms of doctors and nurses and school teachers, the everyday heroes who sometimes maybe we take for granted, who've been pushed now to the forefront and rightly celebrated. What kind of courage and heroism have you seen in the last year?
Yeah, thanks. Great question. Well, in fact, I dedicate the book to those heroes because it really is about these heroes that, frankly, inspire us as a society. They inspire the younger generation to be better than the current generation, and that's what moves societies forward. And when you take a look over the last year, as we have struggled with the pandemic, as we have struggled with the social upheaval, and you see these remarkable men and women that are, the healthcare workers and the delivery people and just the remarkable first responders and the cops on the street trying to do the best job they can, you see these qualities of courage, of sacrifice, of perseverance, and of forgiveness at times. And so these are the qualities that are going to make us a better country. And I hope particularly the young generation, the millennials and the Gen Zs who will read this book, will see that they are this century's heroes. They're going to have to move us forward as a nation. And I hope that they find this book a great read.
No question about it. So you detail, Admiral, in the book a meeting you had with the late Senator John McCain before your confirmation as commander of the U.S. Special Operations Command. You write this, quote, "I knew that the man sitting across from me was more than just a U.S. Senator. He was an American hero, the embodiment of duty to his country. Although we came from different generations, we had a lot in common. Throughout the conversation, he was gracious, funny, sometimes a bit irreverent, but it was clear to me that he had an undying gratitude for the men and women who served in the military. As I got up to leave, he shook my hand and held it tightly for a second or two. 'I can't thank you enough for what you've done,' he said. I didn't even know how to respond. Here was a man who had been to hell and back, a man who'd shown the world what duty to the nation meant, and he was thanking me. I never forgot that moment and the humility of the man who served so well." The story of John McCain's heroism obviously is legendary. Most of the country knows it by now. But what did you see in the man you call a hero?
Yeah, well, he embodied so many of the characteristics we think of as a hero. Again, his courage, his sacrifice. This particular chapter, though, is about his sense of duty. As you know, when he was in that POW camp, he had the opportunity to leave. The North Vietnamese wanted to use him for propaganda because his father was a four-star admiral, and they thought that they could make propaganda hay by releasing McCain. But the military code of conduct says that you won't take special favors from your captors. And McCain refused to leave. Now, can you imagine that? I mean, you've been in a POW camp, you've been brutalized and tortured for years, you have the opportunity to leave, and you don't? That is this remarkable sense of duty that is unquestionably, the character of a great hero.
Admiral, you talk about in your chapter about compassion. You talk about how it's so easy to become jaded by war, and then you say this, but every now and then you see an act of kindness and charity that makes you long for the days when you didn't have to hide your sympathy, your mercy, or your sadness, where you could cheer for the do-gooders, smile at little acts of humanity, and be proud of the merciful. And you say this after a heck of a story about the actor Gary Sinise. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was one of those kind of interesting moments. I think it was about in 2006. We were having a meeting of all the generals and the admirals in Afghanistan. General John Abizaid was the Central Command commander. And so we're having a very important strategic meeting over dinner. And the door to this, the building we're in Bagram, Afghanistan, opens up. The aide comes in, and behind him is a civilian. And the civilian looks a little stunned to be in this place. And he looks and he kind of abruptly says, well, who's in charge here? And of course, we all laughed a little bit. We knew who was in charge. So General Abizaid says, well, I guess that would be me. But Sinise goes up and he introduces himself, says, I'm the actor that played Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump, and I'm here to try to deliver some school supplies to children. And it was interesting to watch as Gary made this kind of impassioned plea to General Abizaid about the need to help these children, how the tenor in the room changed. Because, as a warrior, sometimes you don't want to lose that edge. You don't want to necessarily feel that compassion because you think it gives the enemy an edge. But, boy, when you see people like Gary Sinise and so many others doing so many good things, it really restores your humanity. And let me tell you, in wartime, there is nothing more important than maintaining your humanity. And of course, it just wasn't here. I saw Gary Sinise just about everywhere I went in the States and overseas, helping the troops and other great Americans.
God bless him. Admiral, we met, you reminded me in an earlier conversation, we met 21 years ago when I went out to visit the SEALs in Coronado, and long time ago. But you've dedicated your entire life to protecting and defending this country, following through on that epiphany you had when you were 8 years old. You spoke out over the past 4.5, 5 years. I'm curious, for the discouraged, for the disillusioned, what do you tell them about where America is right now, the state of America, and what our future looks like?
I'll tell you, Joe, I have great optimism. I've always had great optimism. And the fact of the matter is, I am the biggest fan of the millennials and the Gen Z that you'll ever meet. And this narrative that somehow this generation is, these soft little entitled snowflakes, then I'm quick to point out you've never seen them in a firefight in Afghanistan, or you've never seen them trying to make a better life for themselves going to school at some place in the great state of Texas here. The fact of the matter is, these young people, they believe in their friendships, they believe in the country, they question, they ask the hard questions, they mobilize when they think things need to get done. This is a great generation, and I feel like the country is going to be in terrific hands moving forward. So I have great optimism that this nation is going to be just fine.
Wow. The new book is The Hero Code, Lessons Learned from Lives Well Lived.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.